Today's topic is installation of landscape outdoor lighting. And so we're going to go through the process of setting up, laying out, and then installing the fixtures and the transformer. So I brought a guest in from Dauer Manufacturing, and he's going to help us go through the system and explain to us the best practices for doing a landscape outdoor lighting system. So Woody, welcome. Thank you for coming and helping out. So if we're looking at a system like this, what is really one of the first considerations that we need to look into before we start hooking up the lights?
Right. Well, the first consideration obviously is the power supply.
Okay.
You want to look for an outlet that's on the outside of the home. In this particular case, we have one right here, very convenient to what we're doing. In this situation here, we've hooked up the Jarvis, our brand new 300 watt Wi-Fi 3-zone control transformer, and we've already hooked it up to the Wi-Fi router, and we're in good shape there. We've got strong Wi-Fi signal, so now we're ready to start our wiring project. So as you can see with the paver project that you're doing, it was very important to pre-run the home runs.
Okay.
What is a home run? The home run is really the main wire that you're going to connect the fixtures to. The fixtures come with a 5-foot lead. So with LED technology, you're able to daisy chain, which means as the home run wire or main wire is run, you can just, wherever your fixture is going to be, you can cut into that, separate it, and wire in your fixture. Okay. I like to use an analogy of the artery and the vein. So this is your main artery, and the wire on your fixtures would be considered the vein. So you can think of it that way, right? So you've got this home run ready to go. You've already got it underneath the pavers. This is going to be zone 1. Okay. Off of the Jarvis.
So we have 2 wires coming up out of the ground right now.
Right, those are your home runs.
So these are my home run wires.
That we're going to connect into here. So zone 1 will have a wire come up and you'll connect it to zone 1. And as you can see here, this transformer is mounted very nicely onto a stud, onto the home. That way it stays secure. So now that you've got zone 1, you've got it already pre-run underneath the pavers here. That way we can hook up this fixture and we're ready to go with this one. Okay. Then you've got it underneath, all the way over here, pre-run, ready to go. That way we can put a fixture right here in our project. We can also put the Timberline hardscape fixture right here. And as you can see, really nice job, Tim, of getting the home run underneath where the pavers are gonna go, ready to go for your wall here that already has a Timberline ready to go. So this would be zone 1. And this is a great job of getting the wire pre-run underneath your paver project.
Right, so as we were taking these pavers up and we decided to do that lighting project, I thought it was important to go ahead and put a sleeve in here. And so we've run this through, and obviously we're doing that in conjunction with our paver restoration project. But even as a contractor, it's probably a good idea if this was a brand new project to think ahead and say, maybe we can do some lighting down for 10, 12 bucks. I can get 40 feet of PVC. Think ahead and put it in regardless of whether you use it at that time or not.
Absolutely, save the customer a ton of money because when they want lighting and the pavers are already down, you've got to lift those pavers up to run that wire. And that way these wires are absolutely protected as well.
Right, so I don't necessarily have to put them in a sleeve, but because we're going to have the forces of vehicles driving on it, it just adds that extra layer of protection.
Yes, it is.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's go take a look at zone 2 then.
Perfect, let's do it.
So now that we've gone through zone 1, Woody, what's zone 2 going to look like?
So zone 2 obviously is hooked up to channel 2 on the Jarvis transformer. You've already pre-run the wire, the home run wire, because of the paver project that you have. And we've come out to this point right here.
Okay.
So now we know that we're gonna put lights on the front of the home and over around the corner into the garden area. So we've gone ahead and pre-run the home run into the flower bed all the way along the house. Now it's sitting above the mulch as of now so that we can work on it.
Okay.
But once we're done with hooking up all of our fixtures and we know everything's working properly, we wanna make sure we bury that 3 to 5 inches depending on the code of where you live and where you're installing it. So we're gonna come around here with the home run. We have a solid piece of concrete here, so obviously we can't go through that. So we're gonna come around the corner, and as you see the home run lying on these pavers, that's okay because we're actually doing a paver reclamation project here. So these pavers are going to be pulled up and re-leveled, so that's easy. But in case there was no reclamation project, it's okay to still pull up the first line of pavers, get the home run underneath there, bury it some, and then put the pavers back. It's a common practice, it happens all the time. Then we're gonna continue with the home run around the corner, all the way to the edge of the house. That way we can make sure we get that last fixture. Now we know we wanna light up the garden area as well, so we're gonna continue with the home run across this walkway. Obviously that wire will be buried, and now we have the home run down there so that we can connect all of the fixtures that we've designed for this particular area.
Okay, and with LED, you don't have to worry too much about the length of the line. I know with the old halogens and stuff, you had line loss and that kind of stuff.
Right.
So with this, that's not a super long line, but do we have to worry about that kind of thing?
No, the LED technology, the lamps and the integrated product all adapt to the voltage that's being sent to them.
Okay.
So if you start with 12 volts and you end up with 8, all of the fixtures are gonna look exactly the same. That's the beauty of LED technology. So you don't have to worry about that. Now, if you have super, super long runs and you're putting a lot of fixtures, you need to start adding up your wattage, your voltage, the length of wire, and make sure that you're under 10 amps on any single run so that you don't pop the breaker in the transformer. But again, we're talking about a lot of lights on a long run before that would even happen. So in theory, you really don't have to worry about it.
That's excellent. Well, we got a lot of fixtures to hook up,
We
so
do.
we might as well get started.
Let's do it.
So now that we've got all the fixtures placed where they're gonna be and they're staked into the ground, the next step is to hook them all up to the home run wire. Woody's gonna show us some techniques to do that, so let's check in with him.
So we've gotten to the first fixture that we want to hook up from our home run, from the transformer. I'd like to show you guys how a typical installation would work. So again, we have the home run wire. We've already dug out our trench here in the mulch bed, and we've dug out a small trench here for the fixture wire. Again, I like to refer to these as the artery and the vein, or you have the fixture wire and the home run wire. So what's really important about landscape lighting system is that the more wire you have, the more amperage draw you're going to have. So there's no need to use all 5 feet of this wire to connect to the home run. So we're gonna go ahead and give it a cut right here, because that's just about all we need. Then we're gonna take this and use our handy dandy tool here and get this stripped out for us, like so. Then we're gonna take our fingers and just kind of separate these wires. So we're ready to go on the fixture. Now we want to daisy chain it into the home run wire. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this right about there. Let's go ahead and give this a nice good strip right there. Take that off and pull these apart like that. And we'll come to the other side here. Get that stripped out. Pull that apart. And now we're ready to go. So all of the wires are separated. What's great about the low voltage part of landscape lighting and 12 volt is that you do not have to worry about matching up the left side of this wire to the left side of this wire to the left side of the fixture. It does not matter in low voltage landscape lighting. You just want to make sure you've got one in from each one. And obviously we want to twist these together and get them really good and tight.
We'll do the other side just like that. Good to go. There we go. Get them all twisted up. So we're ready to go. Now the next step is very important that you use wire nuts that have the dielectric grease in them. That'll help with corrosion over the years. It also helps the connections stay together. So we'll just jam this in here. As you can see, the grease come out. We'll give that a good twist until it doesn't twist anymore. We'll do the same thing on the other side. All right, we're ready to go. This fixture is ready to go. It's in the home run. It's set and ready. Another great trick of the trade is to actually take yourself a zip tie, get everything like this and just kind of wrap it together like this. And then go ahead and put the zip tie on there. Just like that. Then we're gonna go ahead and, obviously cut off the excess of the wire tie, zip tie. Good to go there. So you might be asking yourself, why would I do that? Well, if someone ever walks through the mulch bed or the wire gets pulled by somebody's foot or a piece of equipment, everything will get pulled and it'll keep your connections from coming out of the wire nut itself. So you don't lose a connection in case there was some sort of, the wire came up, somebody tripped on it, or it got hung up somehow. This will get pulled, and your connections will stay together. Okay, so now we are here at our next fixture to hook up into the home run. The reason we're talking about this one is because there's an uplight right behind it. So we have two fixtures that are very, very close together. So you do not have to separate them when you hook them to the home run. You can actually install them all together as long as the wire nut will take the amount of wire that you're putting into it. The less connections we have, the better. So let's go ahead and cut the home run here and get it ready to go. There. There we go. So we're going to strip this side of the home run. We're going to strip this side of the home run. Make sure we get enough wire there. Separate these. Separate this. Now we're going to bring in our element fixture in the back. And as we spoke of before, you don't need all of this wire. So we'll come here, cut that. We'll get this stripped and separate. And then we have our path light. Again, you don't need all this wire. It's just extra amperage on the load of the transformer that you don't need. All right, here we go. And as we talked about before, as long as you grab one strand from each, you're good. Get them together here. Get a really good twist on that. I'm going to take our wire nut here, jam all that in there like that. Get a good twist on. There we go. And then we're going to take the other ones and do the same thing. Get them all lined up. And get them all twisted together. Just like that. Take our wire nut and get that on. Perfect. All right, so once we make our connections, let's go ahead and do the zip tie technique just to protect our connections in case anything was to happen. So we'll get that tied up. We'll get that cut to make it look pretty. And there we go. Really good connections. Two fixtures put together on the home run. We'll get this buried. We'll cover this up. And now we're ready to move on to our next fixture.
So Woody, we're getting really close to completing this project. So we actually are here now at the transformer and we're going to get to hook all of our lights up and make sure that they're working. So as we look at the transformer and the wires, what are some considerations we need to think about before we start?
Well, one of the things you definitely want to do is go ahead and make sure you have the transformer unplugged, just for safety reasons. I know this is low voltage and it's 12 volt, but you definitely want to unplug that while you're working on this. And most applications are on the side of a yard. So you definitely want to have a piece of PVC that comes from the bottom of the transformer all the way down to the ground and maybe buried in the ground, maybe an inch or two, just to protect against the weed whacker guys, the mow and blow guys that are going to come by and hit that. You certainly don't want your home run wires to get cut. So the PVC is not only aesthetically pleasing, you can paint it to the color of the house, but it's definitely number one for protection.
Okay, and this is a 3-zone transformer, and we're only going to use 2 zones. So
Okay.
why don't you show us what we're going to be doing as far as how those zones work and where we're going to run
Sure.
those.
So on this transformer, this is the Jarvis, again, the 300 watt Wi-Fi enabled transformer, new from Dauer manufacturing. We have a common 1, a common 2, and a common 3, and a channel 1, and a channel 2, and a channel 3. We have already identified this particular wire as channel 2 that's going behind me, right, Tim? Channel 2?
Yep.
And then we've got channel 1 right here. So common 1 and channel 1. And as we've discussed in the past with low voltage lighting, it does not matter whether you do this or this. It doesn't matter. So we're just gonna go ahead and find our way up in there. These tabs are already out. So all you're gonna have to do is hold the wire up in there and start turning this lug to get it tight. Like that, all right? So we know we're in common 1 with the one to other side of the wire, and here's channel number 1 right here with this. So we get that tight there. All right, so we've got zone 1 in there, and now we're gonna obviously hook up zone 2. So again, it doesn't matter which wire goes in there. I'm gonna get this in here and turn this, hold it in there, get in there nice and tight. All right, then we're gonna put this up in there for channel 2, the other side of the wire. Tighten up my connector. Give it a little tug just to make sure you got it. Tuck the wire in there, and now we are good to go. So what we can do now is that's in there. Just actually put this into the power source. Then you can throw your breaker, and then you can check for your lights.
So Woody, we've got all of the light fixtures hooked up. We've hooked them up to the transformer. We've tested them. We see that they're all working. We're not quite done yet, are we?
We are not. We need to come back tonight, and we need to re-aim all of our fixtures to make sure that they're where we want them to be properly. Are they aimed at the house properly? Are they shooting at the columns right over here at the centerpiece that we wanted to do? Are they in a way of a limb or a tree or anything that's in the way that's impeding the light that we did not see during the day? So before the big reveal, you want to come here, you want to turn on the transformer, you want to walk every single fixture to make sure it's doing exactly what you had thought it was going to do, and make any adjustments that you need to make before you bring the homeowners out for the big reveal.
Okay, and so when you do that, you've done that test, but it really is, I think, really fun for the homeowner as well to just say, stay in the house while we get the final touches done.
Absolutely.
And then bring them out and
fire up the switch and
Fire
watch
the
the
switch.
smiles happen.
that is excellent.
And then get paid.
And yes, then collect and check.
Absolutely.
Get them when they're the happiest.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's easier to get
Yes,
paid
sir.
at that point. Well, again, we can't thank you enough for coming out and helping us, and I think this is really, I think this will be really valuable for a lot of contractors out there that are interested in lighting. They're really kind of a little bit scared of it, but this really is something that they can add on to be an extra profit center for their business.
It is, and it's nothing to be afraid of. It's a 12-volt system, so you're not going to hurt yourself. You're not going to plug in the transformer till the final end, and if you had a problem, the breaker's going to pop, and then you can trace your steps. But don't be afraid of it. It's just a 12-volt lighting system, and make sure after you're all done with your reveal, take pictures of your work. It's so important to build a portfolio of your work, so when you go to your next customer, even though their design is going to be different than what they want, you want to be able to show your work and the beauty of what you've done with a canvas like this that had nothing, and how you beautified it with lighting. So definitely take pictures of your work and use that as a portfolio to sell your next job.
Well, that's excellent. Well, thank you again. And if you have any more questions or you need more information, check out one of our outdoor living supply stores or email us at the email in the description below at olsacademy@outdoorlivingsupply.net.